Andrei from Kiravo here. Today we're doing some performance testing. On our managed cloud servers, clients can choose their stack: Nginx, Apache, OpenLiteSpeed or LiteSpeed Enterprise. This obviously raises the question, which is better? So that's what we're going to find out in this video with simple performance testing. It's nothing fancy, anyone can do it. You just install a couple of plugins and run some benchmarks. You can do it on your website if you want to test your current hosting performance. So I'm going to get the smallest cloud server, 2 CPUs and 4 gigabytes of RAM, set it up with Nginx, run the tests, switch the web server to Apache, run the tests again, and so forth. Let's see how WordPress performs on Nginx, Apache, OpenLiteSpeed, and LiteSpeed Enterprise, and who's the winner. I'll be testing how WordPress performs on Nginx with PHP version 8.3. I'm going to use two plugins, the WordPress Hosting Benchmark tool and the WP Performance Tester. Let's first run this benchmark. We're going to skip object cache tests. Okay, and always anonymous, accept terms, consent GDPR, save settings, then start benchmark. This is going to take a couple of minutes, so I'm just gonna fast forward. Okay, the test is done. We can see our server score is 9.8. On CPU and memory, we have 10, 9, 10, 9.5. File system 10, database 10 out of 10. WordPress core 9, 10, 9, 9. Content filtering 8.74. That's the lowest. JSON network. Okay. Now let's test the WP performance tester. Click begin performance test. Well, this is not showing. Why not? I don't know. Okay, total time 5.8. WordPress performance benchmark. Execution time 0.17 queries per second. 5,700. 5,000. Wow, that's a lot. Done. Okay, so this is quite a lot. You know, the performance tester plugin. Okay, so the WP performance tester is used by Kevin Ohashi on the WordPress hosting performance benchmarks. And we have here, this is the under $25. Let's view full results. WP performance tester. And let's see the scores. $2,300. PHP bench 6.11. Okay, so let's run it again. $6.2. Execution time 0.1. Queries per second 5,000. So I think the PHP bench is this one, and the WP bench is this one, queries per second. As you can see here, the biggest is 2,300, and we are at 5,000. But this is the cheapest. Okay, this is the cheapest, the under 25. Let's go to this one. Let's see. Serve bolt width 4,700. Okay, so this one is better. Okay, let's run it one more time. Five seven 0.1 6,000. Okay, so we're definitely higher than this one. Okay, this is a performance tester. We should also test scalability. We're gonna test clients per second. Client requests made each second. How does my server perform when 5 users connect every second over a 5-minute period? So we're gonna test with 250 users over 1 minute. Let's run the test and see. Okay, as you can see, average response time, it's over 5 seconds. Starts from 400 milliseconds, goes up to almost 4 seconds. Success 4,500 response counts. Okay, what if we activate caching? Well, let's see now. Let's run the test again. You can see now the average response time is very low, 82 milliseconds, because it gets served from cache, and the number of requests is much higher. So the server can handle more traffic, obviously, because of the caching. Okay, average response time 2.8 seconds. I believe this is an average between the two of them. For this test is 85 milliseconds. Can we go higher with the number of clients? Oh, let's see. 1,000, okay. Yeah, this goes pretty well. I have to tell you that before I started to run these tests, I have disabled some security settings on the server. Okay, so 60,000 successful, 84 milliseconds response time, no timeouts, no errors. Can we go even higher? Let's see. Okay, so we're starting to see timeouts and network errors. But that's a lot, 10,000 clients over 1 minute. That's a lot of traffic. Okay, so we have a 6.7 error rate. We have timeouts, we have network errors. Okay, let's see some details. So 7,500, this seems to be the limit. When going more, up to 10,000, you start to see errors. So that's how much traffic it can handle, about 7,500 clients per second. Okay, one more thing that we can test is the time to first byte. Right click on your page, inspect element, go to network and refresh. This is the time to first byte. 80 seconds, 121, 73, 73, 73, 74, 75. Okay, so it's around 70. And this is without any caching. Now, let's enable caching and see how this goes. Back in the panel, we go to Advanced Developer Tools. We have the Fast CGI cache. Let's enable it. I'm gonna start a private window and see. Okay, so it's 39, 38, 41, 40, 39, 40. Okay, so you see much better with caching. And now we have fast CGI cache hit. So the page loads from the cache. Okay, another thing that we can test is the PHP performance. We can add the plugin called PHP Vitals. I'll activate it, go to PHP Vitals, and okay, let's save this and let's run the benchmark. 4.78 A+. Good. Okay, so that's how WordPress performs on Nginx. Let's see how it performs on Apache. I've created a website. You can see web server, Apache, PHP version 8.3. We're going to run this benchmark, then the performance tester. Okay, let's skip persistent object cache test because we didn't enable it. Let's always anonymous. Accept, save settings, and start the benchmark. This is going to take a while, a couple of minutes, so I'm gonna skip past this. I'm gonna fast forward it. Okay, the test is done. Let's see. 10, 9.7, 10, 10, 9.6, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. This looks very similar to our Nginx scores. Okay. Now let's try the WP Performance Tester plugin and see how this goes. Total time for server performance benchmarks is 6 seconds, and WordPress performance benchmarks execution time is 0.18 queries per second, 5,500. Okay, this is a bit worse than the Nginx test. Let's try again. Five 5,700. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so this is worse than on Nginx. One more thing we can test is the time to first byte. Right click, go to inspect element, go to network and refresh. Okay, so This is no caching whatsoever. Server is Apache and no cache. You can see time 210 milliseconds, 280, 133, 187, 131, 133. So it's about 135, 200 milliseconds. Let's see if we enable some caching. Okay, so let's add a caching plugin. Let's try Surge. This is a simple plugin and it should work out of the box. Okay, log out, inspect element, network, and refresh. Well, it didn't drop too much. Let's see. Xcache hit. So the time to first byte didn't improve so much with caching. 84. But it's quite inconsistent, as you can see. So not much of a difference, to be honest. Maybe it's the plugin. Let's deactivate search and delete. Let's try WP Supercache. Host name, save changes, caching, okay, caching on, date status. Test cache. Both, okay. Let's log out and let's see. Network, refresh, 150, 150, 140, 190. Okay, so cache is working, but still the time to first byte is still quite high. Okay, let's try one more thing. We can also test the PHP performance with a plugin called PHP Vitals. Okay, let's run the benchmark. 4.8 seconds, A+. Let's test now the Apache site. The same test, clients per second, 250 user, connect every second over a 1 minute period. Let's run the test. This is without caching. Okay, so response time, average 6.5 seconds. Successful counts, almost 4,000, 3,900. Can we go higher? Let's see if we can go to 1,000. The test was aborted because it reached the error threshold. So 10 seconds is the threshold. Let's see some details. 60, 70 per second, 70. And then starts the timeout. So about 67 per second. Let's see this test again on the details. 64, about 75 per second. Let's see what happens if we activate caching. Let's add a plugin. Upload. I have the WP Rocket. Okay, now is activated. Okay, let's try again with caching. There are some timeouts. Okay, so we have an average response time of 2 seconds, 41,000 successful, 240 timeouts. So about 750 requests per second. Then it starts the timeout. So that is a bit worse than Nginx. We've tested Nginx with 10,000. So let's test Apache with 10,000. Okay. The test was aborted, so it's not working. It's a lot. So about 655, that seems to be the limit. Then it starts to fail. Okay, let's go on and test the OpenLiteSpeed. Okay, let's test now the OpenLiteSpeed. We have the OpenLiteSpeed web server, PHP version 8.3. It's the same server as before. We just changed the stack. We're using the same two plugins, the WordPress hosting benchmark tool and the WP performance tester. Let's first run this benchmark. Okay, let's skip object cache test like the previous tests because we don't have Redis enabled. Save settings and let's start the benchmark. On the previous benchmarks, the Nginx and Apache, we got a 9.8 score. I believe that this is going to be the score also because maybe this benchmarking tool is testing the server rather than the stack, but we'll see. The Nginx and Apache both got 9.8, so hopefully the OpenLiteSpeed gets 9.82. This is going to take a while, so let's fast forward. Okay, the test is done. Let's see, CPU and memory, 10, 9.7, 10, 9.5, 10, 9.99, 10, 9, 10, 9, 9, 9, 8.77, 10, 9.8. Well, this is consistent with the Apache and Nginx scores. Okay. Now, let's see the WP performance tester. 5.8, 0.1, queries per second, 5.1. On the previous tests on Nginx, I believe this was 6,000, and on Apache, I think the highest was 5,700. But let's do some more tests and see, because we might get some differences. 6.2, 5.6. There's one more thing that we can test. That's the PHP Vitals plugin, the benchmark our PHP performance. Right, so let's see. You can see this is the OpenLiteSpeed PHP 8.3. Everyone, so it's 4.6. Okay, one more thing. Visit site. We can check the time to first byte. Okay, inspect element, network, refresh. So 66, 103, 63, 64, 64. Okay, the time to first byte, 64 milliseconds. That is without caching. So if we go back to the, if you go back to the admin interface and activate LiteSpeed cache. Now let's log out. Right click, inspect element, go to network. Now let's refresh. 52 milliseconds, 51, 80, 49, 99. So it's about 50 milliseconds with caching. Let's see. X LiteSpeed cache hit. So the page is loading from the cache. Okay, so let's test now the OpenLiteSpeed site. It's the same test, 250 clients per second for 1 minute. Starting to see some timeouts and some 500 errors. Okay. So 31% error rate with timeouts and 500 errors. Let's enable caching and see. Okay, now let's rerun the test. Already we can see the response time is much lower, 100 milliseconds, between 82 and 500 milliseconds, against the 4.5 seconds without caching that was on the previous test. No timeouts so far, no errors. Okay, so this is good. This is much better. 250 to 65 per second. Okay, let's go higher. Let's go to 1000 as we did on the other tests. Okay, so 60,000 successful requests, average response time 175 milliseconds, 0% error rate. Okay, up to 2000 requests per second. Should we dare to go to 10,000? Let's dare. Run. Okay, aborted. Well, so far, only Nginx was able to run this test, even with timeouts and network errors, but it completed the test successfully. It wasn't aborted. Okay. Now we have one more test left, the LiteSpeed Enterprise. We're going to test the LiteSpeed Enterprise with PHP version 8.3, the same server, using the same plugins. Let's run this benchmark. Skip object cache, always anonymous, save settings and start benchmark. Okay, the test is done. 10, 9.7, 10, 10, 9.5. This is pretty much the same as the other tests. 9.5, 10, 9.2, 9, 8.8, 10. So, total server score 9.8. It's the same as OpenLiteSpeed, the same as Apache, the same as Nginx. So this WordPress hosting benchmarking tool is not very relevant. Let's see the WP performance tester. .8, 0.2, 4,800. This is a bit low. The Nginx was on 6,000. The Apache was on 5,700, I think. And OpenLiteSpeed was doing 5,500, I think, queries per second. This is under 5,000. We need to test again. Yeah, 6.1. Okay, so this is the biggest one that I've seen so far. 6,100. The Nginx was 6,060, I believe. This one is quite high. 107, 97, 141, 71. Okay, so this is without caching. Time to first byte, 71 milliseconds. No caching whatsoever. So if we go to plugins and add the LiteSpeed cache plugin, and activate it. Now let's log out. Now let's see. It drops to 50, 70, 50, 52. And we can see here in the headers. Let's see, as LiteSpeed cache hit. So it's serving from cache. Okay, 180, 52, 70, 50. So 50 milliseconds is the time to first byte on LiteSpeed Enterprise. Let's also test the PHP vitals on LiteSpeed Enterprise. So 4.63. Okay, let's test now the LiteSpeed Enterprise website. The LiteSpeed Enterprise is a premium web server. So the Nginx, Apache, and OpenLiteSpeed were free. This comes with a license. It starts at $10 a month. So let's see how it performs. First, without caching, with no caching enabled. Okay, let's test. It's the same test, 250 clients over 1 minute. Let's see how this goes without caching. No errors so far, no timeouts. Let's see the details. About 90 per second. 5.5 second average response time. 4,665 successful requests made. Okay, let's go up to see with 1,000 no caching. Okay, not working. This test was aborted because it reached the error threshold. Okay, so it's not working with 1,000. Let's activate caching. The LiteSpeed cache is server level caching, just like fast CGI on Nginx. So it should perform similarly. Okay, let's run again. The response time is better. 200 milliseconds with a minimum of 80. No timeouts, no errors so far. Let's see, 1,000 requests per second. Okay, so all went well. Now let's go beyond. Let's go to 10,000. Okay, we're seeing some timeouts. Okay, 185,000 successful requests with timeouts and network errors. Okay, less than 5,000 requests per second, so it starts to time out. So it actually performs worse than Nginx, which is it's a surprise, because I don't know, I was hoping that the premium version for LiteSpeed would perform better. Okay, that's it. That's the test. Okay, let's review the results. On the first test, the hosting benchmark test, we have the same result, the same score. So the web server is probably irrelevant. Next, we have the WP performance tester. Here, in the server performance benchmark, we have Nginx with the best score, then LiteSpeed Enterprise, then Apache, and then the OpenLiteSpeed web server. As you can see, the differences are quite small. On the WordPress performance benchmark, we have the execution time and queries per second. On the execution time, lower is better. LiteSpeed Enterprise wins this with Nginx on the second place. As you can see, it's just 2 milliseconds, the difference between them. On the queries per second, this number, the higher is better. LiteSpeed Enterprise wins with 6100 and Nginx in second place with 6060. Okay, let's move on to PHP Vitals. Here, lower is better. Again, LiteSpeed Enterprise and OpenLiteSpeed are slightly better than Nginx and Apache. This is probably because both LiteSpeed and OpenLiteSpeed web servers use their own PHP, LSPHP, while Nginx and Apache use the PHP FPM. On time to first byte, we have the no cache version and cache version. Here we have LiteSpeed Enterprise and OpenLiteSpeed. OpenLiteSpeed is the winner, then LiteSpeed Enterprise, then Nginx, then Apache. On cache version, we have Nginx in first place and OpenLiteSpeed and LiteSpeed Enterprise both with 50 milliseconds. Nginx has 40 milliseconds, so it's not that much of a difference. Okay, on loader with 250 clients over 1 minute without caching, we have the response time in milliseconds. Lower is better. Here we have OpenLiteSpeed as the winner, then LiteSpeed Enterprise, Nginx, and Apache in fourth. In the response counts, the number of successful requests, higher is better. And here we have LiteSpeed Enterprise in first place and Nginx in second. On the number of requests per second, Nginx wins, then LiteSpeed Enterprise in second. The next test was the loader with 1000 users over the course of 1 minute. This is with caching. Without caching, all fail. And with caching, we have these results. The response time in milliseconds, lower is better. This is Nginx with 84 and LiteSpeed Enterprise with 115, while Apache is very, very high. The next graph is with the response counts. Here, everything is the same except Apache. The same is with requests per second. All are equal except Apache. The next test is 10,000 clients over 1 minute with caching, of course. Here, Apache and LiteSpeed fail the test, and so the test gets aborted. And Nginx wins here, both on response time with 1 second versus 3 seconds, and in response counts, the number of requests successfully processed. So it's 400K versus almost 200K. Also in requests per second, 6,000 versus almost 4,000. And there you have it. I've tested 4 popular web servers: Nginx, Apache, OpenLiteSpeed, and LiteSpeed Enterprise. I didn't intend for this to be a scientific test, but rather mimic something a regular user would do. So there's no fine-tuning, no preparations other than disabling the firewalls for the loader to work. Everything is out of the box. Nginx proved to be great for serving cached content at a massive scale, while the LiteSpeed family is an excellent choice for dynamic content. Apache didn't perform very well. Many people would argue that it can be fine-tuned to perform better. That is probably true, but it's also true for all the other web servers. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm Andrei from Kiravo. Thanks for watching.